Discipline. Written by the NAS team. Narrated by ButterflyCoffee and produced for audio by Mr. Jodge.
While the Ministry of Supply has provided riddles designed austerity engines for the far corners of the East, Midland and Southern railways of Britain, it is the West Country that has received a more continental form of austerity. These massive American 280s are the answer to the Western region's cry for power, as well as the answer for when we invade Europe. From Plymouth to Penzance, these mighty locomotives trudge vital supplies up and down the country, to the same standard as their British counterparts, a true testament to America's ability to aid her sister country in her time of need. And not to worry about our railways scooping the pool. There are plenty more engines in store ready for the invasion, each one ready for deployment at a moment's notice.
While the S160s had been a useful asset to the railways of Britain, their brazen attitudes when they came out of storage left a lot to be desired. At Newton Abbot, however, there was a distinction between the engines that had been based there for a while and the new arrivals. Existing engines were much more quiet and reserved, simply getting on with the job they had to do, while the newcomers, unaware of how things worked...
Come on now, y'all! Where them cars at? We got a war to win, don't we?
...had far more gusto.
1546, just in time. You report to the sheds for a crew change before...
No.
Mr. Turner cut in. Trying to keep in charge of his own sheds was becoming a war of attrition in its own right.
No. Head to Hackney Yards. The crew you have will do just fine. We haven't time to change things over. That train needs to head out now. Now off you go.
Don't you dare start telling my engines what to do, Turner!
Thundered Sergeant Hunt.
My engines fall under my command, and they will answer to me, or my name isn't Sergeant Isaac Hunt!
Well, if you ask me...
burbled the Duke Dog.
I think he is being a bit of a...
Yes, sir, Sarge. I'm on my way.
And the new engine set off to the yards, a smug grin plastered across his smokebox.
We need to take on water before we head off first,
called the driver.
Right after I get some water.
The S160 chunted over to the water tower. As he waited, he noticed Duchess about to set off for her next turn of duty.
Well, I'll be damned,
he said.
These British folk making some engines with real fancy curves. Beg pardon, ma'am. Would you be interested in doing a double-header with a big, strong engine like yourself to Tyro? Is that how you say it?
It's true, Duchess replied flatly. I'm flattered, but I'm afraid I'm old enough to know you're draftsman, so the answer is no. With a blast of her whistle, she clanked away. The American engine was unfazed.
She's into me, I can tell,
he said self-assuringly.
Ain't that right, bud?
He called out to another S160. This one was looking rather reclusive and said nothing. Odd. 1546 was sure he'd get a hearty agreement.
You, good there, bud?
But like before, nothing. He now lost patience, screwing up his face.
Ha! Don't tell me you're already fatigued. We ain't even started fighting yet.
Shh. Well, finally.
Huh! About time you...
Shh! Keep quiet.
Came the hushed response.
Don't let the cabbage mogul hear you talking trash like that.
The what?
Shh! Here she comes.
Both engines were silent. as a filthy, gruff-looking goods engine clanked by. Face peppered and scarred with fatigue, her eyes were weary, but sharp. She didn't even look at the two engines as she wheezed towards Hackney Yards. 1546 scoffed as soon as its shedmate let out a sigh of relief.
Ha! That old relic?
He sneered.
My tender has more weight in it than that thing!
The other S160 glared at him.
Look, pal, here's 3 laws to live by if you want a fighting chance of leaving this place alive. Work hard, keep your smoke box down, and don't tick off that mogul.
1546 looked at him strangely as his driver climbed back into the cab and eased him away from the water tower towards Hackney Yards. As he left, he muttered to himself.
Poor thing. Must be something in the water around here.
By the time he was coupled to the train, that funny-looking mogul was there waiting for him.
"And what time do you call this, Yank?" she rapped. "This train was due out 20 minutes ago, and you've gone and missed your road. Even the riddles were better than this. Just what were you playing at over there?"
Despite this sharp impression, 1546 wasn't fazed.
Hey, a man's gotta drink when a man's gotta drink!
He said simply.
Besides, I'm new, and I don't know how operations work around here, you know?
"Then you better start learning bloody quickly. No bumping those wagons either, or the ministry will be down here taking your number. Now you take my road, my train will have to depart later. The army's never gonna let me hear the end of this one. Southern Yank."
As the S160 whistled and began to slide out of the sidings, he growled.
Jeez.
1546 rolled his eyes.
Who died and made you the sergeant in these parts?
The next thing the engine knew, the mogul charged forward across his path, trapping him in the siding. He braked hard and was only just able to stop. But before 1546 could speak,
"What did you just call me?"
came the venomous reply. It wasn't a question. 1546 was caught off guard.
Who died and made you Sarge?
"Sarge! Bloody Sarge!"
The mogul practically roared. 1546 had no defense.
"Now you listen here, sunshine! If you're going to be working in my yard, and if you are going to be giving me army titles, I will let you know, my son, there are only 3 kinds of sarges in my yard. Massage, sausage, and if I ever hear you call me that again, I will personally take this entire goods train behind you and ram it right up your passage, lad! And that will fit you with a bloody set of frames if you don't bloody well got any already. I don't give 2 clinkers if you're younger and stronger than me. As far as I'm concerned, you are cheap quality. Cheaply built, cheaply ran, cheaply shipped, and cheaply scrapped when this conflict is all said and done with."
The entire yard had fallen silent. The mogul quietened down somewhat, but her eyes still burned with the same fury she had when she had been shouting.
"It's Sant,"
she finished as she backed down onto her own train.
"Just remember where you stand in this world." "What the bloody hell are you still doing here?" she barked. "Move your pistons! Left foot, 1, 2, 1, 2, move yourself!"
1546 practically tumbled out of the yard with his wheels spinning. That scary mogul was still yelling.
"Come on, you rolling question mark! You'll miss my road at the rate you're going! God's sake, I can move quicker with 1 cylinder in the bloody snow! What do you think you're doing?"
I'm sorry! I'm getting on!
It was late in the day when 1546 arrived back to Newton Abbot. Despite the initial road being missed, He had managed to make up the time, and had even arrived early. Sergeant Hunt was eagerly awaiting him at the platform.
I must say, newbie, compared with the rest of this sorry spittoon, you've done your country proud for your first day. Report on back to the sheds and be ready to move out on a moment's notice, soldier.
Sir! Thank you, sir.
1546 replied, the run having given him back the majority of his confidence. As he coasted towards the sheds, he caught sight of Duchess on the adjacent track, snoozing gently in the setting sun. 1546 smirked to himself. Tonight was going to be good.
Well, hey there, pretty lady.
Duchess opened her eyes and saw the bulky engine swanking towards her. She inwardly groaned.
How about I tell y'all about my day?
1546's ego was given a death sentence as Lizzie emerged from the darkness, hissing steam on his road and glaring right at him.
Go on. How about you tell us about your day?
Actually, the shed seems pretty crowded, little miss. I think I'm gonna hunker down with the boys over there. I'll leave you be. You ladies, good evening now.
1546 stammered, and he took off like a scolded cat.
Now, what did you do to him, Lizzie? Hey?
It matters not, Grantham, Duchess replied. Settle yourself down to sleep, all right? I have no doubt we shall be called to work at a moment's notice, and it's best to get what rest we can.
No, all right, Duchess. Very well. If you say so. I guess.
She looked over to Lizzie, whose eyes still bored into the S160 as he scampered away to the yards. As 1546 sidled up alongside his classmates, a knowing voice whispered out.
3 laws. Work hard, smoke box down, don't tick off the mogul.
Do I look like I know what a JPEG is? I just want a picture of a goddamn hot dog.